Welcome back to the absolute peak of your English journey here at English with Podcasts. I am Emma, and today we are venturing into the advanced social architecture of the English language.
And I am Leo. Hello, Emma, and a huge warm hello to our dedicated global family. Today, we are moving far beyond the basics. We are exploring the high-level strategies that turn a speaker into a communicator.
This is a massive deep dive session. To truly excel in 2026, you need to understand the psychological nuance of how native speakers navigate complex social landscapes.
Before we reveal the official title, let's play our favorite game. I have 3 hints about the high-stakes English we are exploring today.
Hint number 1. It involves diplomatic language, which is how we share difficult opinions or say no without ever causing a conflict.
Hint number 2. It's about speculative phrasing. We use specific structures to talk about possibilities, theories, and what-if scenarios in professional and personal life.
And hint number 3. It's about collaborative storytelling, the art of building on someone else's ideas during a fast-paced group discussion.
Have you guessed it? Today, we are mastering the vocabulary and the sophisticated flow of advanced social intelligence, navigating complex conversations in English.
This is our most intellectually demanding episode yet. I'll be the ambitious professional trying to navigate a tricky situation, and Emma will be the communication strategist. Let's get into the high-level rhythm.
To reach the highest levels of fluency, you must master hedging. Instead of being too direct, we use phrases like, "It appears to me that we might need to reassess our current trajectory."
Vocabulary deep dive. Trajectory refers to the path or direction something is taking. Reassess means to evaluate something again to see if changes are needed. This is the language of leadership.
Now for nuanced disagreement. When you don't agree, don't say, "I disagree." Say, "I see where you're coming from, but I wonder if there's another angle we haven't considered yet."
The angle. In this context, an angle isn't a shape, it's a perspective or a way of looking at a problem. This phrase is perfect for keeping a conversation robust and productive.
If a situation is very difficult and full of tension, we describe it as, "We are navigating a bit of a friction point right now."
High-level word. A friction point is a specific area where two different ideas or people clash. Recognizing it out loud helps everyone stay calm and professional.
Now let's talk about hypothetical reflection. You say, "Had we known about the budget constraints earlier, we would have pivoted our strategy."
Grammar mastery. This is the third conditional without using if. It's a very sophisticated way to analyze past mistakes and show lesson learned logic at a corporate level.
When someone shares a great idea and you want to expand it, use additive input. You say, "Building on that point, I'd like to introduce the concept of scalability."
Concept power. Scalability is the ability of a system or business to grow without being slowed down by its own structure. Using technical terms like this proves you are ready for international business.
If you're overwhelmed by too much information, use this metaphor. "I feel like I'm trying to drink from a fire hose right now."
Idiomatic flair. Drinking from a fire hose means you are receiving so much information so quickly that it's impossible to process it all. It's a very visual way to ask for a pause.
Now for softening a demand. Instead of, "Give me the report," say, "I was hoping you might be able to circulate the latest findings by the end of play today."
Office English. Circulate means to distribute or send out to a group. End of play is a common British and international business term meaning the end of the working day.
Let's discuss mitigating risk in speech. You say, "To play devil's advocate for a moment, what happens if the market shifts unexpectedly?"
Strategic thinking. To play devil's advocate means to argue against an idea, even if you like it, just to test its strength. It shows you are thinking 3 steps ahead.
If you want to describe a person who is very good at multitasking, use, "She is incredibly adept at wearing multiple hats in this organization."
Professionalism. Adept means very skilled. Wearing multiple hats means having many different responsibilities or roles at the same time.
Now for the pivot. When a conversation is going off track, you say, that's a valid concern, but let's circle back to the core objective for a moment.
Control phrase. Circle back means to return to a previous topic. Core objective is the main goal. This keeps the meeting efficient.
Let's talk about inherent value. You say there is an inherent benefit to diversifying our approach to language learning.
Academic tone. Inherent means existing as a natural or basic part of something. It makes your argument sound much more stable and well-researched.
When you want to describe a very small but important change, use we need to make some incremental adjustments to the user interface.
Precision. Incremental means happening in small stages over a period of time. It's much more professional than saying small changes.
Now for synthesizing information. After a long talk, you say to synthesize everything we've discussed, it seems we are prioritizing quality over speed.
Executive skill. To synthesize means to combine different ideas into a single clear conclusion. It's the ultimate fluency coach.
If you want to describe a plan that is doomed to fail, you say, I'm worried this proposal might be dead in the water.
Descriptive language. Dead in the water means something has no hope of succeeding or moving forward. It's a strong way to express a critical concern. Now for establishing common ground. You say, we seem to be on the same page regarding the overarching mission.
Teamwork phrase. On the same page means having the same understanding or agreement. Overarching means something that includes or influences everything else.
Let's look at quantifying impact. You say, the positive feedback has been substantial, which validates our efforts.
Professional vocabulary. Substantial means large in size, value, or importance. Validates means to prove that something is correct or useful.
When you need to describe a very difficult decision, use, it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Balanced view. A double-edged sword is something that has both favorable and unfavorable consequences. It shows you're weighing the pros and cons carefully.
Now for facilitating consensus. You say, how can we bridge the gap between these two competing viewpoints?
Leadership skill. To bridge the gap means to connect two different things or to reduce the difference between them.
If someone is talking around the point, you say, could you help me unpack the underlying message here?
Deep analysis. To unpack an idea means to explain it in detail so it can be understood. Underlying refers to something that is important but not immediately obvious.
Now for managing expectations. You say, we need to be realistic about the bandwidth of our technical team.
Modern work English. Bandwidth in this context refers to the energy, time, or mental capacity someone has to handle a task.
Now for fostering innovation. You say, we should encourage a culture where everyone feels empowered to challenge the status quo.
Progressive tone. Empowered means having the official power or confidence to do something. The status quo is the current state of affairs.
When you want to describe a project that is progressing well, use, we are definitely gaining some serious momentum now.
Dynamic language. Momentum is the force or speed of an object in motion, or in this case, the progress of a project.
Now for acknowledging complexity. You say, I realize there are many moving parts to this operation.
Visual metaphor. Moving parts refers to the various different elements or people that must work together for a plan to succeed.
If you want to highlight a major achievement, use, this milestone marks a significant breakthrough in our research.
Goal setting. A milestone is an important stage in the development of something. A breakthrough is a sudden and important discovery or success.
Now for soliciting feedback. You say, I'd be curious to hear your initial impressions of the prototype.
Open communication. Initial impressions are the first thoughts or feelings someone has about something. A prototype is a first or preliminary version of a product.
Now to navigate ambiguity. You say, we need to remain agile as the situation continues to evolve.
Resilience. Agile means able to move quickly and easily, or in business, able to adapt to change. Evolve means to develop gradually.
If you want to describe a very clear and obvious point, use "it's a compelling argument for restructuring the department."
Persuasion. Compelling means evoking interest, attention, or admiration in a powerful way. It makes your point sound very strong.
Now for concluding with impact. You say, ultimately, our success hinges on our ability to communicate effectively across borders.
Finality. Ultimately, it means at the most basic level or in the end. Hinges on means to depend entirely on something.
Emma, let's put this social architecture into our massive immersion roleplay. We are in a high-stakes strategy meeting for a new global project.
Leo, I've been looking at the projections. It appears to me that we might have a friction point regarding the launch date. I see where you're coming from, Emma. Building on that point, if we don't reassess the timeline now, we might find ourselves drinking from a fire hose next month.
Had we realized the complexity of the local regulations, we would have pivoted sooner. Do you think the current plan is scalable?
To play devil's advocate, I think it depends on our team's ability to wear multiple hats. We need everyone to be adept at handling these incremental shifts.
That's a valid concern. I was hoping you might be able to circulate a new draft of the core objectives so we can synthesize our feedback.
Absolutely. There is an inherent risk in waiting, so let's circle back to the budget before we finish today. It's a double-edged sword, but we need to stay agile.
I agree. We need to bridge the gap between our vision and the reality of our current bandwidth. If we can unpack these challenges, we'll gain more momentum.
Exactly. Our success hinges on getting everyone on the same page. Let's make sure this milestone is a true breakthrough for the company.
Excellent. I appreciate your nuanced perspective on this, Leo. It helps us stay on the right trajectory and challenge the status quo.
Thanks, Emma. Lesson learned from the last project, transparency is key. Take care with those final reports. Wow, that conversation felt like it belonged in a boardroom in London or New York.
That's the power of high-stakes English. It's about precision, diplomacy, and foresight.
I noticed that by using "had we known" and "it appears to me," I sounded much more confident and respectful at the same time.
That is the goal for 2026. It's not just about what you say, but the social intelligence behind it.
If you stayed until the very end of this massive advanced masterclass, comment the word strategy below.
Your commitment to learning is truly inspiring. Don't forget to like and subscribe to English with Podcasts.
Keep analyzing, keep synthesizing, and keep soaring.
See you in the next massive episode.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.